Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another video, and we are back with another market update. Holy cow. All right, this is the last day of May, and went out in typical fashion. Kind of what I expected. I mean, this was a terrible month, and the market decided to go red for the last day of the month, but we actually have a lot to get into this video. Right now, I don't want to make this an I told you so video, but for those who have said that macroeconomics mean nothing, well, today is another reason that proves to you that actually, no, it does, right? And everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I have no issue with that because at the end of the day, I'm really just giving my opinion, right? But the market literally went down because of macroeconomics, as it's literally been doing the entire year. And the biggest reason why was because of inflation. The White House was not very clear on their plan or what they want to do about inflation. It was actually, today was very weird. And I don't think the market liked that. The market's like, you don't have a plan. Oh no, So let's just break everything down that happened. Biden met with Jerome Powell, right? Who was the Fed chair. Now, he also met with Janet Yellen. Apparently, Janet Yellen was there. Now, there's this other guy named Brian Deese. I forget what he does. He's like some advisor. He sucks. I don't like him. He gave a press briefing on pretty much what happened with the Biden and Jerome Powell meeting, and it was terrible. He did a horrible recap. If you want my honest opinion, I don't even think he knows what happened in the meeting. That's how bad his press conference is. And as soon as he started talking, this is what happened to the market right here. This right here. The market didn't like that. Market's like, oh no. They didn't like that at all. It was actually really funny, but sad at the same time. So that happened. If you want my honest opinion, this is just my thoughts on what I believe happened in the meeting. I think Biden said, look, dude, because a lot of people say Biden cares about the stock market. He wants the stock market to go up. I disagree. I think Biden wants to get rid of inflation. And I think Biden and Jerome Powell both are thinking in their heads, even though they're not colluding, they're thinking independently because the Federal Reserve is supposed to be independent of politics, right? But I think they're both thinking in their head, we need to do whatever we can to get rid of inflation, which is why I've been very adamant on this channel that I ain't buying nothing, nothing. I ain't buying no stocks until we figure out what is going on with the macro picture. Like everything. The only good news we got today really was China. I think I saw the COVID lockdowns are starting to go away. I think they're ending it for right now because cases are slowing down, which that is good news. But besides that, I don't see anything else. So for me, in this environment, I think I'm going to hold my cash a little bit longer, and I don't apologize for that, right? So let's go on into what else is going on, right? I still think personally that we are in a bear market rally. Now, it remains to be seen if this is a confirmed bear market rally because, well, it was a bear market rally because stock market did bounce. I think the S&P went to, what, 3,800? And then what did it bounce to? Hold on, let me look real quick. What's the S&P 500 at now? It's at 4,100. That's not bad. That's a pretty solid bounce. But anyway, I think that this is the wrong market. Is that a fly? Oh my God. I'll take care of that after I'm done recording. What we're seeing is a bear market bounce, in my personal opinion. And I think this is the wrong market to buy the dip in. I know this is so different than what the other YouTubers are telling you. Holy cow, guys, buy this, buy that, buy whatever, buy everything. No. I think once you start to become a more sophisticated investor, in my opinion, I think you do have to pay attention to what's going on in the macro. And I think the macro is extremely important. And you also have to recognize what type of market you're in, right? Last year in 2021, it made sense to buy every dip because that was a crazy bull market. We are now in a bear market. The dips should not be bought. And the rips are like getting sold. Like anytime the stock market just rips, guess what happens? People are profit taking. That's literally what I think we're saying, right? So, I think the worst thing you could do is FOMO, right? Because obviously we've gotten some green. Now we had red today, but last week we have some green. I suspect we'll probably get some green this week. And the last thing you want to do is FOMO. I've been saying this so many times on this channel. Patience. You got to be patient. Let things play out. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have any money in the market. Just go 100% cash and just, be them old people back in the Great Depression having money under your mattress. Don't do that. Because I told you, remember, let me make it very clear. I am still 80% invested in the stock market. I haven't sold any stocks, actually. But what I have done is the income that I am getting every 2 weeks from my job and through other ventures that I'm doing, that money is sitting in my bank account and I'm just being patient. So it's not that I sold all my stocks. I didn't do that. That's not a good idea because I'm in here for the long term. But I just haven't bought any because, in my opinion, I'm not comfortable buying in this environment. I'm really not. I really think that buying is putting money in a oven fire. Like that's really a fire pit. Like that's really what I think. And you don't have to agree, right? You don't have to agree. You're free to have your own strategy. But on this platform, I like to always share my opinion. I think that my opinion is a very educated one. So let's move on. Mitch McConnell, this is actually really important. Mitch McConnell said that it may take a recession in order to crush inflation. Why did he say that? Because obviously he's probably been thinking this for a while, but why did he come out and say that? Is he possibly trying to prepare us for what's to come? I think that could be the case. And like I told you guys, people think that the worst has happened now. I disagree. I think this is going to be a red summer. This is going to be a bad summer. I don't think the worst has happened in May. I think the worst is coming. I think June, July it could get really bad. We'll see what the Fed does. And we also need to see what the CPI print says, right? We have a CPI print coming in June, which tomorrow's June. So we're getting really close to that. Oh, it's going to be very interesting to see that CPI report and see if inflation is peaking doesn't really matter. So take the one out. We're just going to keep one thing, period. We need to see if inflation is coming down. That's what we need to see. If you want my honest opinion, I don't think it is. That's just me. I really don't. And I actually have some worries about stagflation. So that's why I said, I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. They want to hear what stocks will 10x in 2 minutes. I know. But over here, we tell the truth. And the truth is, there's always a balance in life, right? There's always a balance in financial markets, right? Things don't just go straight up forever. I know 2020 and 2021 were like that, but guess what? Those days are over. Past performance is not indicative of future results. And right now, the future results that we're getting right now is red, and more blood red, okay? So I am waiting. Also, the macro just looks so bad. You know, we also got a food crisis, which nobody's talking about. I might do a video on that, but we literally have a food crisis happening right now, which is actually terrible. But here's another important thing I want to tell you guys. Quantitative tightening actually begins tomorrow. Keep that in mind. And that could affect crypto. Now, you guys remember, I did a video on that recently where I explained the history of quantitative tightening. Well, let's just go ahead and get into it, right? So the Federal Reserve is going to begin to aggressively shrink its $9 trillion balance sheet, right? This begins tomorrow. Now, this type of monetary policy, believe it or not, has only been done one other time before, and that was in 2017 and 2018. You guys remember, we actually had a crazy crypto rally at that time. I actually remember that. I was somewhat invested in crypto, but I still wasn't as into crypto as I kind of am now, right? But I remember because I was in college at that time, and that was a time when everything was running to the moon. And then I remember, I don't remember this specific thing happening, but going back in history, I can see and put the pieces together that once the Fed started to do quantitative tightening, the crypto market didn't like that, you know, or maybe the excess liquidity just got pulled out. I don't know, but we're about to find out. Now, there's a lot of conflicting reports on what's going to happen. Well, let me just explain this real quick. Let me explain. So this type of tool that the Federal Reserve is using, which is quantitative tightening, is actually being used to reduce the liquidity in the economy in order to combat inflation. Now, effectively, the Fed's balance sheet should shrink by roughly $1 trillion annually. And on top of that, this is a much faster pace than the last round of quantitative tightening in 2017 and 2018. That's what I wanted to say. And that's what leads me to what I was originally going to say. And that is the fact that a lot of people are kind of mixed on how they feel about this. Some people think it won't affect the market. Some people think it's going to have a huge impact. Some people just downright don't know. If you want my honest opinion, I think it's going to affect the market. And that's just my honest opinion. So, but if at the very least, I would probably wait and kind of just see what happens when they begin to do this. Now, let me also say this. Powell expects that it may take around 3 years for the balance sheet to normalize. And he definitely said that too. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. They are probably going to be raising interest rates and doing quantitative tightening for a while. I don't think that this is something that is going to end by the end of the year. It could continue well into next year. So that's definitely something that you are going to want to have to keep in mind. I think people are ignoring the effects of the quantitative easing and all the money printing that the Fed did in order to save us from the pandemic. I think a lot of people are discounting how much money they actually printed and what economic impacts that has. Now the Fed is kind of trying to fix that because guess what we got out of that? We got sky high, insane inflation. As a matter of fact, the inflation is so bad. Oh, I hope I screenshotted that article. Did I? Ah, crap. I didn't. Oh, yes, I did screenshot it. The inflation has gotten so bad that an article by CNBC came out today that said 25% of Americans are delaying retirement due to inflation. That is beyond serious. That is sad. That is depressing. That is terrible. Can you imagine having to delay your retirement due to the rising cost of everything? Because everything has gotten, the cost of everything has risen so far. Gas prices, food, travel, whatever. Everything has risen so fast that 25% of the entire population has to delay their retirement. That tells you everything you need to know. And that's why I keep trying to tell you guys, for all my investors out here, for all my people who are young, be patient and do not ignore the impact of macroeconomics, and do not ignore the severe period we're in right now. This is actually a very serious period. And I think a lot of people are not realizing it because it may not be directly affecting you. But I'm telling you, we got a food shortage, right? Food crisis going on. Supply chains are still happening. We got the COVID policy in China. We got recession fears. We got inflation, which is destroying everybody. We've got the Federal Reserve being really aggressive. This is just one of those periods where there's just so much going on at once. It's going to take time for all of this stuff to sort itself out. And like I said, in this kind of environment, I'd rather sit on the sidelines. That doesn't mean I'm selling everything. That doesn't mean I'm not investing in the stock market. I am. But in this environment, I'm comfortable with holding cash. And like I told you guys, with everything that I'm saying, I think just from a personal finance standpoint, it makes sense to hold cash, because if we get a really bad, mean, ugly recession, there's no guarantee your job's going to keep you. I said this. Jobs are ruthless. They don't care. They're going to do whatever they got to do to protect the business and make sure that they got enough money to get through the hard times, right? So anyway, there you guys have it. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of this video. I tried to keep it short. I'm at 11 minutes now, but whatever. There you guys have it. That'll go ahead and conclude today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.